Welcome back to the Team Winning Podcast in association with Team Winning Media. I'm your host, Maher Iqbal.
I'm your co-host, Abdurrahman Arif.
And honestly, this is a podcast episode I've been waiting for a long time because I love talking about fighting. I love talking about MMA and boxing. Our co-host is finally back in Toronto. I can't wait to be back in Toronto because once I'm back in Toronto, our whole layout of the way this podcast work will change. We will no longer be a online-based podcast. We're gonna have our own studio, our own setup. So stay tuned for that. But sir, welcome back to the Six. It's your
Welcome
time.
back. Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm waiting for the host to be back too. Once he's back, we got a lot of things in place, for the podcast. And one thing I gotta say, once everybody's back in Toronto, the podcast won't be the same. We're gonna take it to the next level. Anywho, let's get into the agenda for today. So, first of all, we're gonna be talking about two of the heavyweight champions. We're going to talk about Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, the clash of the titans. Later on, we'll be talking about Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Conor McGregor is making a comeback in the UFC, and he's going to be fighting Michael Chandler soon. So we're going to be talking about later in the podcast. So stay tuned and watch till the end. All
So
right. So let's get into the podcast. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Now, before we get into that, Joshua, his team confirmed that he backed out from fighting Fury. What are your thoughts on that, host?
I mean, I feel like first of all, if you haven't subscribed, take this moment to subscribe to the Team Winning channel. But with that being said, it was actually Tyson Fury's promoter, George Warren, who is the son of Frank Warren. He confirmed that they had sent Joshua contracts and that Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn, top bloke, one of the best promoters in the game. Eddie Hearn decided that Joshua's gonna fight 2 fights before he fights Fury. I feel like Eddie Hearn suggested this to Joshua because Joshua's been very adamant to be fighting Fury for a long time. The fight was made before the third Wilder fight, but due to court order that Wilder's team presented in court, Wilder got the winning, and he therefore got the fight with Fury for the third time. Joshua was going to fight Fury initially, but I think because of his stock going down due to his losses with Alexander Usyk, and that too twice in a row, his promoter wants him to take a safe route, and therefore they're saving that Fury fight for a later time. But with that being said, I don't know how bongers these guys have gotten if they actually think they have a chance against Deontay Wilder.
Well, to be honest, first of all, Joshua, he's definitely got to climb some ladders before he can fight the big boss Fury. You know what I'm saying? But Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, both of them, they've been outside. They haven't been in the ring for a while now. What are your thoughts on Joshua making a comeback and Deontay Wilder making a comeback? And do you think Joshua should get a chance on the heavyweight championship title?
Joshua has held the 3 belts out of the 4 for a while before he lost them
Yeah.
to Usyk. He's shown us he's a seasoned heavyweight. I mean, I do feel like that people hold Joshua to very almighty standards sometimes because there was a time that Joshua gave us that invincible vibe until he lost his first fight to Andy Ruiz Jr. So we do hold Joshua at a high standard, but rightfully so. That's what he's been advertised as. That's what he's been promoted as. With that being said, does he deserve to fight for the world title? If he beats Deontay Wilder in good fashion, in fact, not even good fashion, right? If he even beats Deontay Wilder without a robbery happening, he deserves a chance at the title for sure,
Let
100%.
me ask you this then, because I'm not gonna lie, Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. This was a long time coming fight. A lot of fans wanted this fight years ago, but they've been outside the ring. They're not the same anymore. Would would the fight expectations be different if the fight were happened, let's say, 5 years ago or 6 years ago?
5, 6 years ago, when this fight was presented to, and no, when this fight was presented, look, both teams said they ducked one another. But I do remember that this fight was $100 million fight where both fighters would make that sort of purse.
Mm-hmm.
I do like to think as much as I'm a Deontay Wilder fan, I feel like Deontay Wilder, he didn't duck Anthony Joshua, but they presented him with Tyson Fury. And that time, Fury was coming back from depression. Fury was coming back from the whole situation he had outside the ring. So Deontay Wilder's team thought that if they could beat Fury, they would become the A side to fight Joshua, meaning that they make more money. Because Joshua had
Right,
three belts and Wilder only had one. But the last guy to have three belts before that was Tyson Fury. So beating
right,
Tyson Fury for Wilder would mean that he would be the A side getting more money against Joshua. However, that plan failed, and Deontay Wilder ended up losing to Tyson Fury two times, and one of them
two
was a
times.
draw. So
Okay,
things did not go his way, but the fight is still happening from what we've been hearing. It's not the same 100 million undisputed fight, but it's still a very big fight on paper. These guys stylistically are super hard punchers. Wilder is one of the hardest punchers in the history of heavyweight boxing, if not the hardest. I personally think he punches harder than Ngannou. You should look at the last knockout he did on his opponent. That was so fucking crazy. And it's a big chess match because Joshua's new style these days is very, very textbook related, very gun shy. So it's a crazy fight. And we all know Deontay Wilder likes to struggle against guys that are good at boxing. But Joshua also shows us that he gets caught with punches. So it's one of those.
I mean, I agree with you on that point. Joshua's new fighting style, it's decent, but it's a little overwhelming. Um, but how would you compare that in competition to Deontay Wilder? Do you think that now that Joshua's training hard and trying to get back in the ring, how would you rate both of their performances before they fight?
Look, so the thing with Wilder is his last fight was against Robert Helenius, right?
Yeah,
I've never seen Robert Helenius get knocked out the way he did. But with that being said, he was at the twilight of his career. He had taken punishment. And
right.
Wilder has suffered big punches from Tyson Fury. And once you get hit hard in boxing, that health bar you once carried goes down, and your chin is no longer that strong.
The same. Yeah.
I think the fact that Deontay Wilder is still inactive because his last fight was only one round. So the ring rust might still be there. It does give Joshua an advantage to outbox Wilder with style. But then again, it's fucking Deontay Wilder. This guy has one punch. All it takes is one punch, not to knock down or hurt, but to fucking kill somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, man, he knocked out Fury, so keep that in mind. He knocked out a couple of times. So I feel like, as you mentioned, the last fight was one round. Don't you think that that carries weight in this fight? Because one round is a short time and he managed to knock out a guy. So
Look, you're right about that, but like I said, Robert Helenius is not a world championship caliber fighter. He is a
okay.
journeyman. He's a good fighter to test your skills against when you're lacking confidence. Yeah, he
All
doesn't
right.
go down easily. I'll admit that. So while they're putting him down easily was a big flex. I agree with that. But Wilder only fought one round. His body still didn't adjust under the lights like that because his last fight against Fury was years ago. I believe in 2019 or 20 early 2020. And he took
Okay.
and look, Wilder has taken more punishment in his career compared to the punishment Joshua's taken. Joshua's been down in his career several times, but so has Wilder. And Wilder, the way he lost to Fury in their last out fight, was a dangerous knockout. I felt like if the ref didn't stop it, it was gonna end bad for Wilder. So I do feel like if Joshua's power is capitalized on Wilder, could be a bad night for Wilder too. This is actually look, I'm a little biased because I'm a Wilder fan, but I'll say this. It's a 55-45 fight favoring Wilder. And believe me, heavyweight
Okay.
contest, anything is possible. And this fight, I won't be surprised if any of them win. But yeah, I do lean it slightly to Deontay Wilder, to be honest.
Let me ask you this then. Do you think that Anthony Joshua has the potential to become the heavyweight champion again? Or same goes for Deontay Wilder, but more so for Anthony Joshua. That's what I'm trying to know.
If Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce, all of them decided to retire at the same fucking time, then I would say yes. But with them all present right now and fighting heavy and fighting big fights, I feel like Joshua's not becoming world champion again. And listen, Joshua didn't have a shit career, in my opinion. Joshua, he could lose his next 10 fights. This guy had all three. He had three belts at a given moment. So as much as I'm not an Anthony Joshua fan, he gave us crazy fights. There's no boring Joshua fight. I'm not gonna lie to you. All Joshua fights are fun. Even the ones he loses, you have a good time. Like if I pay for a Joshua pay-per-view, at the end I'm gonna be happy. Even though I might criticize some stuff. I might criticize the price sometimes. I'm gonna be happy in the end. Maybe his last fight against Franklin wasn't that good, but then after the fight, he decided to fight him again. I'm
I was
like,
gonna bring that up.
that's kind of good. That's kind of good, you know. But
I was
no,
gonna bring that up, but you saved yourself from that one. But
yeah.
what would you say about Deontay Wilder? Do you think he has the potential to become or to fight Fury again? Do you think Deontay Wilder should fight Fury again in the future?
So
Let's say if he wins a Joshua fight.
if Deontay Wilder beats Joshua, I feel like I'll still want him to fight Usyk because if he fights Fury for the fourth time, that is, it's gonna get kind of boring unless there's strong reason to. And the strong reason I could think of would be if Wilder was successful in beating Usyk. Now Usyk is naturally a cruiserweight, so if Deontay Wilder did land on him, which is very hard because stylistically Usyk's boxing IQ is just remarkable. But if Wilder did land on him, he would be out cold. Because I've seen Joshua rock Usyk. So if Wilder connected the same punch Joshua did with the power what Wilder carries, it's night night for anybody in the world. That too, including Usyk.
I honestly feel like Deontay Wilder should take his chance. If he wins against Anthony Joshua, should take his chance. Yeah, he's sure he could fight Usyk, but I also think he should fight Fury again. Listen, if Israel Adesanya can make a comeback in the UFC for the fourth time and beat his opponent, I forgot the name. It's not on the top of my head.
Alex Pereira.
Pereira, if he can make a comeback in the fourth fucking fight, what's stopping Deontay Wilder?
I mean,
And
look,
Deontay Wilder has managed to knock Fury down too. Keep that in mind.
That's exactly what I was getting to. Like Wilder has shown that if it's his day and if his output slightly higher, he could beat Fury. Look, this is heavyweight boxing. Anyone is capable of beating anybody. I've seen so many upsets in boxing. They happen in the heavyweight division. Joe Joyce lost his last fight where he was like an 8-1 favorite. I might be wrong on the favorite part, but he was a very, very, very big favorite going in. Very big. He lost that fight. We saw Joshua lose to Ruiz. I saw this guy. I'm sure you know Dylan White. Dylan White was a huge favorite in his fight against Povetkin. He was winning the entire fight. He was about to stop Povetkin. You know what happened? Povetkin threw an uppercut, and it didn't just knock the guy down. It didn't just daze him. It knocked Dylan White out cold. So this is heavyweight boxing. Anyone is capable of beating anyone.
And listen, Andy Ruiz at the end of the day made Joshua stop the fight, and the ref made stop the fight and Joshua quit in the end, right? So
well,
honestly,
so you're saying, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but you're saying Joshua quit against Andy Ruiz, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not really sure about but the ref did stop the fight.
Because I think he quit. I think he quit because the ref.
I personally, it could be biased, but I personally think that Joshua kind of quit because I don't know if I noticed that when the ref stopped the fight, Joshua, you know how some fighters when the ref stops the fight, they start arguing with the ref, right? Like
he didn't argue. He didn't argue. You're right.
Exactly. That's my point. He did lift his hands up a little, and that was it. Like it's not that he had it in him to stop the fight. He didn't have it in him to keep on fighting. So yeah, that's my point. Anything can be possible. Let's get to the final and the main question then. What's your prediction for the fight?
I mean, I kind of said it. I kind of said it 3 minutes ago, but yeah, I'm gonna say it again. Look, 55-45 Deontay Wilder. There is no fucking way. Listen, this is my house right here. I'm betting my house that this fight does not go to 12 rounds. It's a knockout ending. Someone is going out on a stretcher. Like, get the ambulances ready. Get the fucking paramedics ready. Get the oxygen masks ready. And with all that being said, I pray to God Almighty, no one actually gets hurt seriously. But this is a guaranteed knockout fight. And Eddie Hearn,
Listen,
I could sell this fight so well. And not that I'm asking you for a job, but I could sell this fight so well. That's how amazing this fight is. I swear to God.
you know what? Let's make it a little bit more interesting for the viewers. What round is your prediction? Like, what round will Deontay Wilder get
This fight does
Joshua?
not go past 6 rounds, 100%.
All right. All right, there you have it, mates. We got
No, we
actually
don't have it. We don't have anything yet. What's your prediction?
honestly feeling like Anthony Joshua is my guy, but nah, Deontay Wilder is definitely winning this fight. But you know what? I feel like it's gonna go the whole 12 rounds. And Deontay Wilder is gonna win by decision.
I mean, I don't know how that happens unless Joshua is way too gun shy because
Listen, I've
Anthony
noticed.
Joshua is the better boxer. Like IQ, Joshua has the higher IQ. If Wilder is to win a decision, he's gonna have to knock down Joshua many times. But I don't see it a decision. I see it more as a
I
knockout
can
ending.
see I can see Joshua getting hit down and getting back up because he has done that many times, and that's how I feel like the fight's gonna go. You know, he's probably gonna get down in a couple of rounds. Like definitely, he's gonna get down in the first 3 rounds first time. The fight's gonna keep going on because Joshua is not gonna quit this fight. He's my guy. I gotta give him some respect, man.
I feel
That's all
like
I
if
gotta
he
say.
goes down, maybe he might not quit, but his corner might quit for him if he goes down a lot. That's why I just don't see a
Like the
decision in this
thing that
fight.
happened to Andy Ruiz.
I mean, his corner didn't throw in the towel against Ruiz. I think the referee stopped that for him.
Stop that. Yeah.
But in this case, even corners could stop fights too. If they throw in the towel, it's done. You're done. You can't fight
So
anymore.
could the ref stop the fight? Do you think the ref could stop the fight?
Listen, a knockout is a knockout. Your corner stops it. The ref stops it. His mom stops it. He stops it, and at the end of the day, it goes as a knockout on his
On his
record.
resume. Yeah, yeah.
So it's the
All
same
right.
thing, anyways, right? A decision is just hard to think by because this fight, the guys are too powerful for a decision even to happen. So I
Yeah.
don't see a decision happening at all. Like
All right.
unless the only person that gets a decision is Joshua, because Joshua has that ability now. He showed it in the Ruiz fight. He can box a little bit. And you know what? He won some good rounds against Usyk as well. I'll give him credit for that. He
Let me
did
ask
win
you
some
this
good
though.
rounds.
Let me ask you this. I ask you this all the time, right? You have Deontay Wilder winning. Does
Mhm.
that mean there is no chance Anthony Joshua has of winning this fight? There is no
Ah,
way.
it's 45% chance. I just gave him that. No,
Nah, but do you think if there's anything Joshua could do or work his way around, what's that something he could do
listen,
to take an advantage over Wilder?
look. He's the better boxer, but I've noticed he's gun shy. If he brings that style he used to have in the beginning of his career, where the killer instinct was severely high, and he finds a moment where he finds an opening on Deontay Wilder and just throws a barrage of punches, avoids the right hand, he can knock Wilder out with ease because Wilder is old. Wilder has got knocked out before, devastatedly.
Yeah.
Joshua could knock him out if his style is the same style he had before. But if he uses the style he has now, the gun shy style, the wannabe boxer style, it's not gonna work against Deontay Wilder. It's definitely not gonna work against Fury either.
Well,
It might
don't
work
you think
against.
it's
It's gonna work against guys like Andy Ruiz or guys that are just there that are too small to be heavyweights. But yeah, continue.
well, don't you think that if if we can predict Joshua's boxing style and everybody on the internet can predict that, oh, this is his new style. So don't you think he's gonna bring something new to the table? He's gonna
I mean,
surprise with something new on the
you,
table?
you you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So he's not gonna bring some crazy new style we've never seen. He's either gonna attempt to increase his output and not be gun shy, or he's gonna try the same style, believing that it could work. He's gonna work on it in camp, try some shit. I don't know, but he's not gonna come with some shoulder roll shit Mayweather does. No, he's not gonna do that type of shit. Maybe if he was like an amateur boxer that was 16 or 14, okay. But once you're old and you're an old dog in the game, you can't just
Yeah.
change your style like that. It doesn't work. No one can do it. Many have tried and many fucking failed. Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. changed his style to Roy Jones' style because Roy Jones became his trainer. And in his last fight, it was the first time in his career he got knocked out. And Eubank's never been knocked out in his life. He was never even down in his career. He changed his style at a late age. He got knocked out,
Yeah.
devastated. So with that being said, to end the segment, Joshua, don't change your style. Do what served you best in your career. Do what won you the Klitschko fight. I'm more of a Deontay Wilder fan, but as a neutral fan, that's what I would say. With that being said, my boy Deontay Wilder will win. I got nothing but respect for both fighters if they step in the ring to make such a big fight happen. But we always gotta support what we like. We're moving on.
Listen,
We're moving
yeah.
on to fucking Conor McGregor, the
The
biggest,
naughty boy,
the
the bad
biggest
boy
name.
bully ain't a bully anymore.
He's the biggest name in world sport. One of the best
Was
fighters, one of the best salesmen, one of the richest fighters, not the most entertaining fighter of the generation, the notorious Conor McGregor.
listen,
His next fight is predicted to be against Michael Chandler. And one thing about Michael Chandler, he's never in a boring fight. This guy gave trouble to Dustin Poirier, who beat Conor McGregor 2 times in a row. I don't know how this fight goes. Actually, I do, but let's get into it. What do you got to say?
listen. First of all, McGregor has been outside the octagon for a while now. He's been
Absolutely.
handling business. And if you watch his stories and if you follow him on Instagram, you see that he's been partying a bit. He's been doing the illegal drugs for a bit. So I feel like
Kids, stay away from drugs. If you're watching this, stay away from drugs.
I feel like Conor McGregor, he's a legend. He goes down as one of the best fighters in the books, hands down, all right? But I feel like him coming back to the UFC, the only reason he's coming back is because he's got nothing else to do in his life. He's kind of bored with the amount of money he's made from his business, the amount of money he's made from fighting. He took a break and now he's like, I'm kind of feeling bored. Let me go back in the ring and let me have some fun. And honestly, like I don't think he's that serious about the fight how he used to be in the beginning. He's not that naughty bully Conor McGregor anymore. What are your
Man,
thoughts?
you know what it is, fam? Like, I like Conor McGregor. He's so
Oh yeah,
motivational. Like, I just feel like there's some type of fighters that when the money gets to them, the money gets to them, all right? They start changing their lifestyle. Once you know how it feels to be comfortable, you don't want to change that feeling. When you're in yaks all day, when you're doing drugs all day, when you're partying all day, and then you realize, wait, I gotta go into fight camp, be on a strict diet, spar some crazy guys, get in fight shape. It's just not that same mentality no more. Compared to a guy who's up and coming, who's got something to prove, who has to pay bills, put food on the table for his kids. There's a different level of hunger right there. And McGregor, he's eating his food now. He's in the comfort zone. The voice messages he puts on fucking Twitter.
What was smashed my knee into his fucking eye socket, yeah? Sake. That's a knee to a grounded opponent. Call the cops. Fucking ticket.
It's just not. It doesn't sound look normal. And look, True Jordy has some false opinions sometimes. I see the bias in him sometimes. But one thing about Jordy is when he's trying to be not biased, he keeps it fucking real top level. When he admits he's wrong, he admits it in style. He's an honest man. Yeah, he called out Fury. He had some things to say about Fury. I could refute those things. But when he called out McGregor, everything he said about McGregor was absolutely true. And True Jordy is one of the biggest Conor McGregor fans ever, by the way.
let
I've
me
been
stop you
watching this
right
guy.
there. Let me stop you right there. Give us some context about the beef between True Gordy and Conor McGregor.
First of all, they used to be, I mean, not they're like not friends, but I know True Jordy used to be a very, very big fan of Conor McGregor. He even made his own version of Conor McGregor's documentary. Like he had massive respect for Conor McGregor.
Shit.
And for a guy to say that about his own idol shows that he's been disappointed in his idol. He's keeping it real. And Conor McGregor didn't fuck with that. And I don't blame McGregor. When you're at that level, anyone that says anything bad about you, you're gonna get pissed. It's an ego thing. When you're at that level, right? I can't
Yeah.
blame a guy whose net worth is 600 million talking shit. I just can't. He's made that much money, he can say what he wants. But with that being said, in the fight game, I just personally feel like he's not there no more. He's not beating anyone in the top 5. You know what? No, I take that back. He's not beating anyone in the top 10.
That's a big statement, mate.
And look, McGregor said he wants to fight 3 times this year. He loses the Chandler fight. Who's he going to fight next? There's no way he's going to fight Makhachev. And you know what? Speaking of Makhachev, it's even been said that these two guys met each other in Ultimate Fight series. But with that being said, Makhachev gave Volkanovski a tough fight. And this might be controversial. I felt like Volkanovski edged that fight, right? Edged it. He might have won it by an edge. But I just don't see McGregor beating any of these guys. He couldn't beat Poirier. Poirier knocked him out twice. All right, the third time, it was the ankle thing, right? His ankle twisted. He showed tremendous heart, but he still lost via knockout. The second fight they had in your ends in Abu Dhabi, McGregor was out cold. And now you're telling me
that went down.
After his whole surgery, after not fighting for many years now, after partying like a don, you're telling me he's going to come back into the octagon and be better than he ever was? His speech is slurring. He's just not that same guy no more. He's not even the same trash talker no more. His last fight with Poirier, that was one of the worst trash talk presentations I've ever had to witness as a Conor McGregor fan myself. The last time Conor McGregor actually put on a good show in trash talking was the Khabib fight. And after that, it's just never been the same.
Well, speaking of trash talk, what are your thoughts on the episode where Conor McGregor meets Michael Chandler? Because personally, I thought the whole interaction was cringy and awkward. Like there was so much times where they had nothing to say to each other, and I just felt that Conor McGregor is not a bully anymore, how he used to be back in the days. What do you think about the interaction?
I mean, look, don't judge a book by its cover. We only saw the first episode, right? But you're right. He wasn't that guy I thought he was gonna be. He wasn't that gangster. I liked one thing though. I saw him sparring in that episode. I saw him doing some leg kicks. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe man's leg has recovered. Rumor does have it that he's been injecting roids before. But look, there is that gray area that there is that I'm trying to sound diplomatic, right? But there is a gray area where a guy was severely injured, and he did it to make his injury recover faster, right? And then he decided to get off his cycles so he could purely focus on fighting and not have an advantage on his opponents in the ring. Very big gray area. The UFC will avoid it. They got to ensure that their cash cow pays them and gives the fans a good fight. So I'm not going to say anything about that as long as Conor McGregor's opponents are comfortable fighting him. Because I'm not the one fighting him. His opponents are. And if his opponents are comfortable, then it's not my place to say anything. But like I said, the UFC is trying to bring him back on for the big payday. They've been kind of lacking. They've been kind of getting exposed for not paying their fighters well. So they want to make some fast revenue. They want to get some good pay-per-view buys. And who else? Conor fucking McGregor will get that. But if he loses to Chandler in terrible fashion or gets another injury, I promise you he's not going to fight a day again.
Listen, first of all, Conor McGregor has done a huge favor to Dana White. You know, he promoted UFC to the next level. You know, his persona, his character.
My UFC peaked. That was the peak of UFC. You're not going to see something better than that ever again.
Exactly. You'll see, till this day, people try to mimic Conor McGregor's voice, the way he walks, you know, even though he's not that same guy anymore. But honestly speaking, this fight, you're right. It's mainly for money. Because look at Chandler. Despite being older than McGregor by 3 to 4 years, this guy has crazy work ethic. He's in the gym, you know, he's focused. He's been fighting. He hasn't taken time off like Conor McGregor. He hasn't done crazy partying and drugs, or maybe he's done it behind the scenes. But look at McGregor. He's boasting about it. He's posting on his story. You know, he's taken a huge time off. So I feel like despite Michael Chandler being an older guy, he's going to take on Conor McGregor with ease. And that's my final prediction.
Yeah, I feel the same thing because you're only as good as your last fight. And in his last fight, he just wasn't that good. And with the ring rust, with the time off, and look, his work ethic doesn't look like it's there. His party ethic looks like it's definitely there. His eyes are always red. He sounds like he's on the powder. some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Well, can I be
So
honest? Can I be honest?
yeah,
I actually want to talk about something kind of off topic. I feel like I just want to. This is our podcast. I want to improvise some
yeah,
shit off topic. Conor
yeah.
McGregor's segment is over. All right, Conor McGregor, kudos to you. You made your money. You're now winning your next UFC fight.
All right.
Before this podcast, because we're gonna switch this podcast off in about 5-10 minutes. What the fuck do you think of Ryan Garcia and his promoter going at each other? Like, just tell me what you think,
Listen,
honestly.
man. Ryan Garcia got played heavy. Like first of all, for every boxer out there, make sure you have a good management team. You got people you trust in your team, or else situations like these arises. Ryan Garcia's promoter, he played him heavy, and he doesn't care about
Bro,
Conor
he
McGregor.
yes man them. He used to
He
tell
yes
him.
man the
He
fuck
used to
out of
tell him.
Ryan
He used to
Garcia.
tell him. He used to tell him, "You're the next Canelo. You got this." He
Yeah,
convinced them to do stuff like, bro. Can I say something? Can I just say something?
for
I
sure.
knew, I knew Oscar De La Hoya was a red flag when Canelo left him, when Dana White beefed with him, when Leonard Ellerby beefed with him, when every big promoter, Eddie Hearn beefed with him. When so many guys don't like one guy, there's only two reasons. Either that guy is massively delusional or they're all jealous of him. And they're definitely not jealous of Oscar De La Hoya's promotional skills because Oscar De La Hoya might have been one of the greatest fighters in boxing history, but he's one of the worst promoters ever. Canelo
He's a
left him.
leech.
Ryan Garcia doesn't like him. He's also on the cocoa powder like McGregor. I just have no good words to say about him. Ryan Garcia suffered his first defeat in his career. And instead of being there for him, supporting him, having his back, Oscar De La Hoya pretended that he got death threats and had to leave the scene. I promise you, I bet my house on it. If Ryan somehow beat Tank, which in my opinion never would have happened, I swear to God, and I shouldn't even be saying this, but I'm that confident, Oscar De La Hoya would have been there.
Listen, big ups to Tank for having Ryan Garcia's back. Big ups to Tank's team for allowing to take Ryan Garcia in their team if he ever wanted. That's the type of promotional team you're supposed to have on your side. Ryan Garcia, man, he got played. He got played heavy. Like his potential literally went down the drain.
I mean, I'll
And
say this. I'm
they
glad.
yes manned him, they hyped him up, even though he wasn't ready for the fight. And Mayweather called it too. Mayweather is a boxing expert. He's a legend. And he knew it too. But hey, Oscar De La Hoya, he sniffed money. He's a fucking leech. And he went for it. That's all I gotta say.
I am glad that Ryan Garcia got snaked early in his career, which is a good thing for him because now he knows who's actually there for him and who's here just for the fame, who's here for the clout, who's here for the wrong reasons. So, in defense to Ryan Garcia, I'm happy for him. This is a blessing in disguise, and I wish him nothing but the best in his career and all safety to him.
Likewise. Likewise.
Actually, I wasn't even a big Ryan Garcia fan, but the fact he took the Tank fight, did not shy away, agreed to the weigh-in hydration clause, and went in there and showed heart in the ring, despite him quitting in the end, I still have respect for Ryan Garcia. I'll say that.
Listen, Ryan Garcia was actually one of my, like, I used to follow him for a long time. He's one of my favorites. Like, just the person he is. I really like Ryan Garcia. He's a very humble, down-to-earth person. He's very religious, and I really respect that, even
I
though he's
respect
not
that
a
about him.
Muslim. And I respect that. But the
Yeah,
way
he
he
doesn't
got
have to be,
played,
right? In our religion,
yeah,
we respect
any
all
religion,
religions, and that's most important to
100%.
us.
And the way he got played, man, I actually felt it. Like, I actually felt sad, like whatever happened to him, because they're playing with his career. He's putting so much on the line, and this is what he's getting for all of that. So whatever happened to him is very unfair. And you know what it is? Karma is a bitch. Karma always comes around. So whatever happened to him is always going to come around. And, Oscar De La Hoya, he's going to pay for that.
Absolutely. I personally don't wish bad upon anybody, but if you ask me to predict, I feel like Oscar De La Hoya's endgame is going to be terrible. And I don't wish that upon him. I don't wish ill upon anybody. I only wish success and recovery for everyone, my enemies, anybody in this world. We're all here for a good cause. We're all here to go back to God in one piece with all respect. But doesn't look like to me that Oscar De La Hoya's endgame is going to be good, considering his beef with how he snaked out Canelo, considering what he did to Ryan Garcia and many others. With that being said, though, I mean, I do feel like I want Ryan Garcia to go. I want him to go with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is one of the most loyal promoters in the game. He's shown
Okay.
that when Anthony Joshua won, he was there for him. And when Anthony Joshua lost as well, he was also there for him. And not just Joshua, for many, many, many fighters. And that's why, despite what people have to say about Eddie Hearn, despite what people say about him either raising pay-per-view prices or whatever he does, I personally feel like Eddie Hearn is the best promoter in boxing, one of the
Okay.
best combat promoters in the last 20, 30 years. And you know what? He's one of the blokes, when he's done with what he's going to be, when he's done with boxing promotions, I swear to God, people are going to miss him. Cherish this guy, respect this guy. Sometimes he's got to sell a fight. Sometimes he's got to back fighters that in his roster that we might not support, but he's loyal to his guys, and loyalty is everything in these type of situations. With that being said, that's what we had to say. Our next podcast is coming out very soon as well. Is there anything you want to say before we end the episode?
Nothing. Yeah, you're right. Loyalty does go a long way. I hope Ryan Garcia changes promotion immediately. And yeah, I just hope and wish the best for him. Other than that, nothing. Team winning stays winning. Watch out for the next podcast. It should come out really soon. We'll be talking about Champions League, and we'll be talking about a lot of transfer news. Sergio Ramos,
We got
Messi,
so
all
much
that.
stuff.
All
We
of
got
that, yeah.
cricket, F1, Champions League. Oh my days. The best sports podcast in the world coming soon at you. Right now, we're in the journey to prove it, but inshallah, we will prove it. With that being said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I like the numbers we're seeing. And always let us know any feedback, whether it's good, constructive criticism, even if it's hate. We don't give a fuck.